The waiting is over. The summer intermission is consigned to the history books, and under the brilliant glow of Madrid floodlights, the slate is wiped entirely clean. 86 days on from the final whistle of last term, the turnstiles click open once more to welcome a fascinating clash of two completely different footballing journeys. For the hosts, it is the dawn of an evolution, a heavyweight stepping onto home turf without Antoine Griezmann for the first time in an era, ready to assert their authority with a newly reinforced spine. For the visitors, it is the emotional culmination of an 8-year pilgrimage through the wilderness, a proud Andalusian club that tumbled to the very brink in the third tier, clawing their way back into the spotlight of the top flight. Two clubs with rich shared histories converging on night one, each desperate to lay down an immediate marker. You can feel the nervous electric hum radiating through the concourses right now. Opening nights are always shrouded in intrigue, the clean optimism of August, the tactical questions waiting to be answered, and that universal belief that anything is possible over the next 9 months. A very warm welcome along to our live coverage of tonight's opening round clash between Atletico Madrid and Malaga. Wherever you are tuning in across the globe, we are set for a captivating 90 minutes of football from the Spanish capital. I'm Charlie McGuinness, and we are poised for what promises to be an absorbing tactical and emotional battle. A home powerhouse aiming to convert last season's knockout heartbreak into domestic silverware, up against a newly promoted side riding the fearless wave of momentum that drags them back to the big time. It's the beauty of opening fixtures, form guides purely theoretical, fitness levels put to the ultimate competitive test under match intensity, and every single point on the board from tonight onwards carries massive weight come May. We are live from Madrid, from the Metropolitano, where the temperature sits at a warm 89 degrees Fahrenheit, where the evening is just starting to take hold overhead. The pitch pristine, it'll be fast and slick under the lights. And there's a deep resonance about this stadium. Almost 9 years ago, back in September 2017, it was Malaga who had the honour of being the very first visitors to inaugurate this arena in its modern guise. That night, an Antoine Griezmann strike settled a tight 1-0 contest. Tonight, the stands are packed with a sea of red and white, eager to see how their side opens this new cycle, while a passionate travelling contingent from Andalusia has made the journey north, ready to make their voices heard on their long-awaited return to the elite. The storylines woven into tonight's matchup run deep. For Atletico, this summer has been defined by transition and regeneration. After a campaign that delivered a fourth-place finish, a run to the semi-finals in Europe, and the agony of a penalty shootout defeat in the cup final, Diego Simeone begins his 15th full season in charge. The Argentine tactician has overseen over 700 matches at the helm, and there is poetic symmetry in the dugout. Simeone's very first official match as manager of Atletico Madrid came all the way back in January 2012 against none other than Malaga at La Rosaleda. Opposite him tonight stands Juan Fran Funes, a manager stepping into the top flight dugout for the first time in his coaching career. Funes took the reins at Malaga last November, with the club languishing in mid-table before engineering an astonishing turnaround, mounting 3 separate 9-match unbeaten runs and guiding the Boquerones through the promotion playoffs, culminating in that dramatic 2-1 second leg victory over Almeria to end 8 long years in the wilderness. It is the master against the apprentice, Europe's longest serving manager against the coach experiencing his first taste of the top table. Let's turn our attention to how the two sides line up on the pitch tonight. Diego Simeone has made 4 changes to the starting 11 from their final summer tune-up against Marseille, handing starts to Martinez, Mendoza, Martin and academy graduate Arnaud Ortiz, who makes his senior start wearing the number 16 shirt. Jan Oblak captains the side in goal. There is a back four featuring Daniel Martinez, 16-year-old Jorge Dominguez, who plays his first senior football for Atleti this summer, Spanish international Robin Lenormand and David Hansco. Across midfield, the experienced Koke anchors alongside Pablo Barrios, flanked by young standout Rodrigo Mendoza, brought in from Elche in the winter, and Carlos Martin, who netted the late winner against Marseille in pre-season. Up front, Ademola Lookman pairs with Arnaud Ortiz, who makes the step up from Atletico Madrid's second team, where he scored 24 in 34 appearances last season. Before the kick-off tonight, the 4 representatives of Spain's international team who lifted that famous trophy in the United States a few weeks back will be heading out very shortly to the adulation of this home crowd. A number of them will appear on the bench tonight. Robin Lenormand starts from the off this evening. Among the substitutes, Simeone has immense firepower, including some of the aforementioned players and pedigree to call upon, including marquee summer arrivals Alejandro Grimaldo, Morten Hjulmand and Lee Kang-in, alongside Mark Pubel, Alex Baena and Marcus Llorente. Alexander Sørloth tonight is sidelined after picking up a minor muscular strain in training. While Julian Alvarez is not involved in the matchday squad this evening, the relentless summer speculation linking Alvarez with a move away has been put to bed this week, with the Argentine forward fully committed and integrated into Simeone's plans moving forward. That is the official line, at least. For Juan Fran Funes and Malaga, there are 2 changes from their last lineup, with new loan signing Carlos Dottor stepping directly into the attacking unit and Rafita Garrido starting along the back line. Alfonso Herrero takes the gloves and wears the armband. In defence, Carlos Puga, Aina Galilea, Angel Recio and Rafita Garrido form the protective barrier. In the engine room, David Rarrubia and Joaquin Munoz provide width and creativity, alongside Dani Lorenzo and Izan Merino. Up front, Celta Vigo loanee Carlos Dottor supports the club's main attacking weapon, Carlos Ruiz Rubio, also known as Chupe or Chupete, who spearheaded their promotion with 24 league goals last season. Key midfielder Aaron Ochoa misses out through suspension. On the bench, keep an eye on young prospect Josef Otu. Should he make an appearance tonight, he will achieve the historic milestone of becoming the first player to represent Malaga, Atletico Malagueño and Malaga C. So with Sørloth out and Alvarez preserved, the spotlight falls squarely on Ademola Lookman and young Arnaud Ortiz to provide the vertical spark and penalty box presence. On paper, it's a 4-4-2, but we would expect Ademola Lookman, with 5 goals in pre-season, to play almost as a wide attacker. There's plenty of support behind him and plenty of experience too with Koke. Elsewhere in the squad though, there's a lot of youth. We'll highlight, of course, Jorge Dominguez, who at 16 years old is the youngest player in both of these 2 lineups. He's featured in the past 4 games, those pre-season friendlies against Getafe, the 2 Manchester clubs, and that 2-1 win over Olympique Marseille. Malaga's central pairing of Galilea and Recio, they'll have a lot of work to do in the heart of that back line, with some imposing looking attacking weapons on offer for Diego Simeone this evening. On the other side, it'll be interesting to see how Carlos Puga and Rafita Garrido handle Atleti's overlapping fullbacks. No Marcos Llorente, not from the off at least tonight. As we mentioned, Jorge Dominguez steps into that right-back role, with 22-year-old Daniel Martinez Moreno on the left-hand side. The 4 world champions continue to be introduced one by one to the Atletico Madrid supporters. That gives us an opportunity to run you through the Atletico Madrid bench properly, with Juan Musso, the substitute goalkeeper, Pubel, Grimaldo, who's just strolling out now, and Jose Maria Jimenez, all potential defensive options. Johnny Cardoso, Kangin Lee, the recruit from Paris Saint-Germain, just under a month ago, is joined by Alex Baena, Marcos Llorente, Morten Hjulmand and Jorge Castillo. The manager's son, Giuliano Simeone's on the bench, as is Miguel Kubo. Just 18 years old. He's another from the production line. For Malaga, substitutes include the substitute goalkeeper Carlos Lopez, Jose Salinas and Alex Pastor, the two defenders Rafa Rodriguez, Ramon Enriquez, Juan Cruz, the aforementioned Joseph Otu, Haitham Abaida, Eneko Jaregi, Julian Lobetti and Juani. We're almost ready for kick-off. It's been an extended pre-match routine for the side in red and white tonight. The flags are being bundled up. The atmosphere has just ramped up a little bit. These two clubs share a deeply intertwined history over the years. Countless figures have crossed the divide, from Joaquin Piero and Gregorio Manzano in the dugout to on-pitch favourites like Ignacio Camacho, Jesus Gomez and Martin Demichelis. Even tonight that connection echoes. Atleti's reserve goalkeeper Salvi Esquivel is a former Malaga youth product, while Malaga forward Adrian Nino came to the academy ranks right here in Madrid. Well, the homage has been paid to the four players who have returned as international champions. We are going to get underway very shortly, but before we do, there will be a moment to pause in memory of the victims of the awful earthquake in Colombia a few weeks ago. It's been something that's marked a few of these opening Spanish top flight games. There's been some poignant moments as Colombian supporters, the diaspora here in Spain is quite large. A 7.4 magnitude earthquake. There are over 300 people killed and 4,500 injured, hundreds reported missing. It's the deadliest earthquake to hit the country since the 1999 Armenia earthquake. There's been fundraising efforts at all of these clubs, including at Atletico now. The Colombian government declared a national disaster. There are Colombian supporters in the stadium tonight, and if you are listening on from Bogota or elsewhere across the country, we do send our support to you. After that brief pause, the two sides almost ready to get underway. Referee leading the teams out into the arena tonight is Adrian Cordero Vega, assisted on the touchlines by Israel Barcena Rodriguez and Samuel Garcia Aguilera, well, with Maria Eugenia Gil Soriano operating as the fourth official, and David Galvez Rascon overseeing VAR. The stadium anthems have finished. The supporters are on their feet. The anticipation has reached its peak. Diego Simeone pacing his technical area in that familiar dark suit as his side gets us underway. Juan Fran Funes drinking in the atmosphere of his top-flight managerial debut. Both sets of players are underway. Malaga playing from left to right in sky blue stripes on white shirts, white shorts and white socks. For Atletico, it's that familiar kit. It's red and white shirts, blue socks and blue shorts. Around 1,500 have come down from the Costa del Sol to visit here in the Spanish capital tonight. Malaga back in the big time. Can they cause an upset? Racing Santander, their fellow promoted side, almost did that against the side that finished third, Villarreal, at the weekend. That one was run very, very close. It had to take something very spectacular from Nicola Pepe to ensure that Villarreal came away from the northern part of Spain with a point in their opening game of this campaign. Diego Simeone has foregone the usual jacket. It's just a shirt and tie so far this evening. It's Atletico Madrid in possession with David Hansko, who turns it back to Jan Oblak. Hansko and Oblak will know each other well. They've played here for such a long time, and also across Europe in international football. All black from Slovenia, Hansko, the Slovakian. And they're already flirting with the edge of the Malaga penalty area. Big moment for Arno Ortiz, Daniel Martinez and Jorge Dominguez, as we've already mentioned. First team debuts for that trio. Plenty of experience in Atletico Madrid's second team, who contest in the lower tiers of Spanish football. And of course, a big evening for the majority of this Malaga side. There's a significant core of the team that got them promoted, as that's pumped forward down the right-hand side. They'll try and hold it up here with Dotor. It's turned away by Martinez on this left-hand side, pops up into midfield, where it's juggled by Koke, who is the captain this evening, not Jan Oblak, as we previously mentioned. Just clear how many leaders they do have in their ranks, Atletico Madrid, tonight. There's Martinez to Pablo Barrios. Back to Barrios by Koke. Barrios on the left-hand side. Martinez has got forward. Holds off the challenge of Rubia. Now Lookman in the central position. Quickly on top of him was Itan Merino. He breaks loose out towards that right-hand side. Atletico Madrid want the corner. They're going to get it. No, they're not. It's Carlos Martin. At the feet of Alfonso Herrero. 22 years old, the Malaga number one. He's been at the club since July 2023. Almost 130 appearances now. And on the front foot is Joaquin. Laid off to Rafita Garrido. Itzan Merino. Rezio. Lorenzo. Right hand side is Rubia. Rezio. Across to Itzan Merino. Joaquin Munoz on the left hand side, trying to keep the ball here, Malaga. It's been a little scrappy and almost slightly looking overawed by the prospect in the opening few exchanges. 4.5 minutes on the clock. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's always a pleasure to bring you action from Spain's top flight in this independent commentary, unaffiliated to anyone in particular. It's Herrero. Looks for the long ball down the middle. It's aimed at Chupete. It's simple stuff for Jorge Dominguez. He's actually starting a line alongside Robin Lenormand in the heart of defence. I thought he might be on the right-hand side, but at 6'4", you can understand why he's joining Lenormand. Jorge Dominguez, 6'4" and just 16 years old. Here's Martinez. Inside to Mendoza. Mendoza square. Trying to build up down the left-hand side. There's Daniel Martinez. Hansko. Low across the 6-yard box. That's a really good attempt from David Hansko to try and find a teammate. It bounces off the base of the corner flag on the far side, kept in play by Joaquin Munoz. Atletico Madrid win it high in the Malaga half of the pitch again. Lofted in. It was Lookman who got up to it, and he was challenging from an offside position. And Malaga will have the free kick from inside their penalty area. It's the biggest opening they've created so far, Atletico Madrid. Slovakian international David Hansko. 59 appearances for his national side. Fed by Daniel Martinez. Here's Ortiz. Bursts away from the challenge just outside the centre circle. Here is Martinez into the penalty area and tries to latch one towards goal. That was fired across by Carlos Martin. There was a Rafita Garrido. Carlos Puga. I think it was Carlos Puga who went to ground. He felt there was an arm to the face on the edge of the centre circle. Goal kick from into the penalty area. Played short. Long from Recio. Towards Dotto. Strong from Robin Lenormand. Not that out of play. By Ralovia. To the left-hand side, Garrido. Back to Herrero. With a long ball straight down the middle. Chupe. Can't win it. Instead it's with Carlos Martin. It's Lenormand. Martinez tussling for possession on the near side. This thing away goes Marubia. Until Alfonso Herrero. Herrero almost pinned into his 6-yard box. Finds an avenue of escape down the right-hand side. Hansco is there. Barrio inside the Malaga half. Martin. To Pablo Barrios. Good to keep working the ball here, Atletico. Interior by Barrios to Koke. Martinez. It's a high ball, stick towards the back post. Took a little flick off of Joaquin Munoz and bounces off Carlos Martin, and out of play for the Malaga goal kick. We mentioned the build-up, the shared history of these two sides. Ignacio Camacho is one of the most high-profile players who have represented both Atletico Madrid and Malaga. He was an academy graduate for Madrid who made his first team debut age 17. He won European silverware back in 2010 with Atletico. Became a club icon though at Malaga after moving the following year. Over 200 official appearances, anchored Manuel Pellegrini's side during that historic European quarter-final run. Senior Spain caps as well, while at La Rosaleda. It's Jorge Dominguez. With Hansco. Okay, a change of boots from Carlos Dottor. There's Martinez. To Hansco. And now with Barrios. He's giving that ball away. Going to swarm around Lorenzo. Got a bit of support. Shifted out to Joaquin Munoz on the left-hand side. Looks back in field. Betty very quickly get everyone behind the ball. It's Garrido. Munoz. Mr. Puga. Here's Carlos Puga. On the right for Rubia. Laid off again to Carlos Puga. Recio to Aina Galilea. Garrido. On the long end of a hefty challenge. Carlos Martin out on that far side will win Malaga a set piece just inside the Atletico Madrid half of the pitch, and they'll play it short. to Garrido. Flick down the left-hand side. Here's Munoz. Joaquin Munoz across to Carlos Puga. Puga into a central area. It's Angel Recio. Isaac Merino. Back to Recio. Galilea. And it's all the way back to Alfonso Herrero. It's a remarkable story, Malaga's rise to the top flight. They were battling relegation, really, when Juan Funes took over. They were sitting on just 5 wins from their first 15 games. There was a 6-game winning streak as well in those separate 9-match unbeaten runs. Secured a promotion playoff berth, and well, fate was with them. It was a 2-1 away victory against Almeria in the second leg of the playoff final back in June. That's given them this season back in Spain's top flight, and it could be longer than that. Here's Puga on the right-hand side, the first real opening for them. Can they get the ball into the penalty area? Puga delays, pulled back to the edge of the box. Maybe a chance to strike. There was. For David La Rubia. Skews away off his right boot. Not sure it's what Puga intended. It all starts in the middle by Isaac Merino. Laid it out to Puga on the right-hand side. You thought he might have released the cross early. Instead, steps back inside. Had La Rubia on the edge of the penalty area. It didn't end up as a shot on target, but it was still appreciated by Juan Fan. The boss. He tried to measure the pass in behind for Lukman to run onto. Sliding in goes Recio to clear the danger. There's a nice idea from Koke. Arnaud Ortiz will wait for David Hansco to drop down the left-hand side. In fact, it's in from Daniel Martinez. There is Hansco. Looks across to the far side. There is Jorge Dominguez, who I believe is playing on that right-hand side of defence. At times it does appear that there's a back three of Dominguez, Hansco and Lenormand. That's the dominance that Atletico Madrid expect, that they on paper are playing a 4-4-2, but essentially out of possession it's a back three. It's a ball towards a back post. Arnaud Ortiz tried to shift it across towards Ademola Lookman. Picked off by Ayala Galilea. First yellow card of the evening for that challenge. Sliding in was David Hansco. This absolutely went through the back of Carlos Puga. It was a good looking cross at the other end. Well, it's appearance number 750 for Koke. A man who's lifted 9 separate trophies for Atletico. 2 league titles, 3 European titles, Spanish Cup. It's been quite a remarkable career. And at the age of 34, he's showing no signs of slowing down. There's a problem for Puga at the moment, a bit of a delay here. And Hansco just wasn't expecting that foot to be there. He's trying to get his left leg out in the process. He just stepped on the back of Puga's heel. There's an impromptu hydration break. I'm sure we'll see them later on tonight. There's another heat wave in the Spanish capital. Just to put it into context, the temperature right now after kickoff, it's wow, 33, almost 33 degrees. It's not too humid, which is a blessing, but tough conditions for football nonetheless. Here's Rodrigo Mendoza inside right channel, just outside the Malaga penalty area, moved on by Koke. Here is Jorge Dominguez getting forward down the right hand side. Martin wants the ball from Dominguez, instead it's backwards again. Shifted into the centre circle for David Hansko. The aerial ball finds him down the left hand side now. Stepping in comes Daniel Martinez off that left hand side. Floated ball towards the far side of the pitch by Mendoza. Martin beaten in the air to it by Garrido. Recycled though by Dominguez. Popped into the middle of the park. David Hansko getting forward for Atletico Madrid. Shuffled down the outside by Barrios. Here is Martinez. Can he get the cross away? He can towards the back post. Herrera came and then retreated. Ademola Lookman was at the back post, ready to apply the finishing touch. It's not a bad ball from David Martinez. Not for Daniel, I should say. Not for the first time. It was actually Carlos Martin there, and it was Rafita Garrido who puts it behind for a corner. First corner of the evening. What a career it's been as well for Diego Simeone. Cholo, they call him. Koke towards the near post. It's the best of deliveries. Joaquin Munoz will try and escape. They beat one. They had cover in the form of Robin Lenormand. Pablo Barrios it was who managed to poke it back to Daniel Martinez. There he is on the left hand side. Looks for a long ball down the line for Arnau Ortiz. There were some appeals from Malaga defenders for offside, but it won't matter anyway. Bounced off the turf and into the hands of Alfonso Herrero. Herrero in the 6-yard box to Recio Puga. To the retreating figure of Carlos Dotor, who's been dispossessed. Barrios. Here's Barrios again. Mendoza. Dominguez. His cross is off Garrido. And ricochets back off the teenager for throw into Malaga in that left back position. 70,000 packed in tonight. Third biggest stadium in Spain after Nou Camp and Bernabeu. There's been a facelift at Real Madrid Stadium across town over recent years. Currently being undertaken further south at Barcelona. It's still underway. In action in the top flight, Barcelona. He's pretty isolated, Juppé. 21 years old. So return last year. Although it is 25 goals in 43 appearances. It's a foul by Dominguez. Joaquin Munoz just chopped back and there was contact right under the referee's nose. Very central position Not sure this is in range. The likes of Itan Merino. These kind of set pieces will be the lifeblood of Malaga on evenings like this. As I said, not the strongest of contacts, but with Adrian Correa Vega hovering over that incident, he's always running the risk of conceding the free kick, the young man. Short by Munoz. And a foul on the edge of the penalty area by a Malaga player. And, it might have been Robin Lenormand there. After all that build-up, free kick went short, and the referee blew the whistle very shortly after. It's Daniel Martinez. Oblak. Given away in the middle of the park by Ademola Lookman. Looking early for Juppe. Ran out of space and doesn't get the corner he was looking for. It's a little lax by Ademola Lookman as he popped up in a central midfield berth. At the feet of Jan Oblak. Clipped down the right-hand side for Jorge Dominguez. Takes it down on the touchline, and then it's clever play again by Joaquin Munoz just to get his body across and draw the contact. Free kick for Malaga, which goes backwards. Aina Galileo. Angel Necio, the younger of the two centre-backs. Galileo at 32 is the senior, you might say. Whereas Angel Necio is just 23. Malaga local. Rafita Garrido felt he was being tugged there by Carlos Martin. The referee had the same view. And did he? Actually, it's been given as a foul on Barrios as Galileo tried to win it back. So it's going to be a set piece for Atletico Madrid. Another dangerous position. This is just outside the right edge of the penalty area. Malaga do feel a bit aggrieved because they felt that Carlos Martin had tugged and maybe clipped the ankles of Rafita a couple of times. Koke, edge of the box. There's Mendoza. That one's charged down by Juppe. Juggled by Martin. Hansko's still in there. Looped up in the air by Galileo. And that'll be out of play for another Atletico Madrid throw-in. 25 minutes on the clock. It's still Atletico Madrid 0, Malaga 0. In this Spanish top-flight encounter, the first of the season for both these two clubs. Unlike many of Europe's top leagues, La Liga spreads their opening fixtures across a few days, across an entire week. So the table a little lopsided, lots on 0 points, a few at the bottom having lost their games. And towards the near post, a flick on by Jorge Dominguez. It's easy for Alfonso Herrero just to pluck out of the air in the 6-yard box. Chupe trying to get after it, manages to just prod that towards Joaquin Munoz, but possession was fleeting for the fleet-footed winger. La Rubia getting forward again for Malaga down the right-hand side, forced into a bit of a cul-de-sac in the middle of the park as he lays this back to Carlos Puga. Recio for Aina Galileo. Lorenzo. Back to Aina. Now Herrero. Couple of steps outside his penalty area. Hold on to the ball for a while before Eventually lofting one straight down the middle. Another one intended for Juppé. It's bumped into Robin Lenormand. It's been a barrage thus far from Malaga, and especially their goalkeeper. It's a quick corner, one down the right-hand side by Arnaud Ortiz. We called him a youngster in the build-up. He's 24, but it's been a fascinating career. He'll be 25 very shortly. Right, Koke away from the near post. It's Ortiz playing lower league football for Atletico Madrid, playing in Poland before that, and the likes of Girona, Murcia, Cartagena, Aldente and Botafogo SP. Lenormand sliding in, the recovery challenge really delays Malaga's foray forward, but pulling it back is Koke, as he so often does. Lookman linking, or not, with Arnaud Ortiz. It's an understanding that'll grow. You imagine that if Alvarez does remain a Atletico Madrid player, he will be preferred to Arnaud Ortiz. Getting forward as the two sets of players take a leisurely stroll towards the touchline. We've hit 28 minutes on the clock, and a break in play. It's very warm, still over 30 degrees in the Spanish capital at the Metropolitano, and they're going to take on some fluids for the first hydration break of this evening. It's a feature that became a controversial addition, shall we say, to that major international tournament earlier this summer. In some instances there were questionable reasons as to why teams were wandering off towards the sidelines, taking on some fluids, especially in the enclosed stadiums, mild temperatures with air conditioning keeping the players cool. Here you fully understand and respect why the players need a little break, a little drink, and it's a good opportunity for the likes of Juan Funes and Diego Simeone to pass on some instructions to their players. They're following in the footsteps of some well-known managers, coaches, not least the likes of Gregorio Manzano, who managed Atleti across two different eras, 2003 and 04 and 2011. In fact, his sacking in December 2011 directly opened the door for Diego Simeone to take the job. He had previously been a Malaga manager back in 2004, took charge at La Rosaleda immediately after his first spell in Madrid, overseeing the squad back in that 2004-2005 campaign. Also the likes of Bernd Schuster, who played for Atletico Madrid in the early 90s, crossed the Madrid divide from Real Madrid, orchestrated Atleti's back-to-back cup triumphs in 91 and 92. He scored a free kick in the 92 final at the Bernabeu, and managed Malaga in 2013-2014 through that tricky little post-Pellegrini transition season, ensured that they stayed in the league, albeit on a shoestring budget. It's Malaga on the front foot at the resumption. It's Merino. Rafita Querido. Joaquín Muñoz. Querido. Merino. Reina Galilea to Carlos Pulga. Rubia on the right-hand side. Oresio. Galilea. We're watching on from one of the expensive boxes high in this stadium. Alexander Sørloth, as we mentioned, he's not involved this evening. Another who spent an interesting summer. He earned plaudits and fans. So his Norwegian side became an iconic feature of an international tournament with the Norwegian row, the Viking row. Often plays second fiddle to the likes of Erling Haaland in the pecking order. internationally, but his record at Atletico Madrid is quite remarkable. 46 goals in 108 games. It's not to be sniffed at. It'll be a big miss. Here's Munoz. Joaquin Munoz throws the ball down as he's closed down by Mendoza. Malaga trying to bare their teeth. Garrido. Joaquin Munoz. Rafita Garrido. Couple of step overs from Rafita. Shoots just inside the penalty area, blocked by Dominguez. Malaga trying to pick their way through. Munoz, it's taken away from him. Munoz again pulls it across the 6-yard box. He was in an offside position as the ball bounced back to him. David Hansko with an important challenge in there. Really pinged around in the penalty area, and in fact it's not been pulled back for an offside. It was for Joaquin Munoz initially. The ball just toe poked away from Hansko, by Hansko I should say, so his attempted shot turned into a bit of kick on the shins of David Hansko, hence the free kick inside the penalty area. But Malaga showing they're not here just to make up the numbers this season, certainly not just tonight either. Let's go forward. Sarno Ortiz on the left-hand side, driving at his man Puga. Ortiz across the face of the penalty area. Little back heel, clever idea, won't reach Mendoza. Ortiz sliding in to win it back in front of Joaquin Munoz. But a foul prior by Adamola Lookman. Give Malaga the free kick. It was direct running though from Arno Ortiz, who just got his head down, drove in past Carlos Puga, skirted along the edge of the box and tried to just back heel that into Rodrigo Mendoza, who'd picked up a decent position in the Malaga penalty area. It was read in the end by Carlos Puga, who tracked or shadowed really Arno Ortiz's run. Well, no real clear-cut chances. On the side with the shot on target as yet. And pretty even Stevens in terms of possession. It's not necessarily what Atletico Madrid were expecting up against one of the promoted sides in their opening game of the season. 34 minutes gone, but they do have an opportunity here. Mendoza stings the palms of Alfonso Herrera from 25 yards. Just as I said, there's been no shots on target. There's one, not a bad effort from Rodrigo Mendoza. You always expected Alfonso Herrera to keep that one out. Expected to push it away rather than hold on to it. It's back in Madrid possession with Barrios near halfway. Koke floated out to Jorge Dominguez. The touch goes backwards. Joaquin Munoz dispossessed. Where's the throw in? These two sides have faced each other a number of times. Last time head-to-head was all the way back in 2018. 8 years. It's a long exile, isn't it? Atletico Madrid have the much better record. 72 games, Atletico Madrid have won 40 of them. Malaga just 13. In fact, Atletico have won each of the last 5 consecutive meetings, dating back 10 years now. By Garrido. He's going to come back at them though. Here's Barrios in the centre circle. Martinez dispossessed by Carlos Dotor. Throw in. Martinez into Koke. Koke to Hansko. David Hansko to Daniel Martinez. Koke splitting his two centre-backs, Laurent Mons and Let's go either side of it. Now down the right-hand side is for Jorge Dominguez. Infield to Lookman. Lookman down the right for Carlos Martin. Caught in the penalty area, right-hand side. Looking for options. Lookman is there on the edge of the box, trying to dance his way out of trouble. And he's just stepped on the ball, an awkward touch. He wriggled away from him. And now Malaga can try and accelerate away with Joaquin Munoz being tracked by Jorge Dominguez. Clip of the ankles and the first yellow card for the 16-year-old. Joins David Hansko in the book. So far this evening, he's been Joaquin Munoz, who's caused all the problems for Malaga. Free signing from Huesca back in 2025. He's got a bit of pedigree, not least here at this club. Where his career began. Years ago. Just feature against Huesca in that first season. As the 90th minute substitute. As a teenager. It's a side he would eventually move on to in 2019. Lofted long by Alfonso Herrero. Chupe. And it loops away off Lenormand for a throw into Malaga. Other than Rodrigo Mendoza's shot, Malaga look just as likely as Atletico Madrid do to opening the scoring. Well, he's back, Diego Simeone, back to his usual vibe on that touchline. Those who track these kind of statistics estimate that he covers 4 to 5 kilometres sometimes, and that's as a manager in the technical area. There are some players in world football, definitely goalkeepers, that don't do that. It's Buga forward. Merino. Looks for Rafita Carrillo, who was getting forward on the left-hand side. All black, almost closed down there by Chupe. Bounces away from Mendoza. The pass back, though, from Merino is only to Alemana Lookman, edge of the penalty area. Now it is for Arno Ortiz, left-hand side of the box. Not too many Atletico bodies alongside him. Ortiz beyond this man, looking for the 6-yard line, and Barrios, but it's away by Oresio. Here's Hansko. Koke. Hansko. Martinez. Hansko again. Lenormand. Dominguez. Charges into the middle from that wide berth, and that offers the space to Carlos Martin. Into Mendoza. Mendoza at the near post. 2 in front of him. Recycles the ball. Martin in towards the 6-yard box, and it's nodded behind by Buga. It was Mendoza with the initial chance. The touch took him wide. Across got Dani Lorenzo to make the block. It's brushed off Resio's head and then nodded behind by Carlos Buga as it was recycled by Carlos Martin. That's where we find ourselves now with a corner kick with Koke standing over it for Atletico Madrid. Pulled back to the edge of the penalty area. Ortiz, another ball into the box, flicked away at the near post by Puga. Nodded back in there by Martin. This time Herrera will pounce. All in the arms of the Malaga goalkeeper. 41 minutes play. Half-time not too far away. And so far, Juan Funes will be the happier of the two managers. And he's 20 matches in charge of Malaga. He's won, my apologies, in his 38 matches in charge of Malaga. He's won 20 of them. It's quite a significant win percentage. That, of course, includes pre-season friendlies. I remember a week ago, Malaga faced Fulham in a pre-season friendly, which finished 2-2 after 90 minutes. They were supposed to go to penalties. Fulham were taken off the pitch. Alvaro Arbeloa, whose name you should probably whisper in these parts, the former Real Madrid defender, now in charge at Craven Cottage, took his players off the pitch. So it wasn't in the official contract, apparently, which meant you saw Chupe swatting a ball up to an empty net and taking a penalty anyway. Officially it's a draw. I'm sure Malaga will take the moral victory. It's Barrios. Koke in towards the back post. Herrero gets there in front of Carlos Martin. He's collided with Rafita Querido. His own defender is down in the penalty area. Herrero is just taking a seat as well. That'll be a sore one for both men. Querido tried to take evasive manoeuvres. And he's still got clattered by his goalkeeper. And 2 minutes remaining. Like a team out there and checking on him. Trying to make sure he's all right to continue. Fascinating contest here this evening. I have to speak about the fact that Atletico Madrid are overwhelming favourites on paper, but not necessarily recognisable in their starting 11. Some big names missing: Julian Alvarez, Alexander Sørloth, as we've already mentioned. Seems to come back, seems maybe to come through the doors as well. There's the new recruits, Grimaldo, of course, on the bench. Marcos Llorente on the bench. Kangin Lee on the bench. Malaga on the ball. Querido. Lorenzo. Aina Galilea. Rafita Querido. Back by Daniel Lorenzo. Lorenzo finds Herrero. It's a long ball over the top. Hansco gets there ahead of Carlos Totor. Malaga with the throw in on this right hand side. And Carlos Puga is jogging down the touchline to take it. It's backwards into Angel Recio. Aina Galilea. All eyes will shortly be on the fourth official, Maria Soriano. The board is aloft and it's got the number 4 on it, so we'll move into 4 minutes of added time. A cagey affair, you could probably say, but both sides going for it. And Jorge Rodriguez needs to be careful. He's already on a booking and he just pulled back at Joaquin Munoz. Munoz has made the most of that, yes. That's the naivety of youth. On a yellow card, and many other referees might not have let him get away with that. Wouldn't be surprised to see Diego Simeone take him off at half-time, just to spare him. Here's Munoz. Chupe. Here is Chupe. Chupe with the effort, saved by Oblak. On the follow-up, another save by Oblak. It was David Rarubia. 2 shots on target in quick succession. And Jan Oblak, who's had a quiet evening so far, has kept his concentration. Bit of fortune in the build-up. There's probably an offside, you know, in the way it's found its way to Chupe. He wasn't to know. Look for the far corner. It bounced clear. Now Harubia looked for the bottom corner, the same place. Oblak got up, recovered quickly, got down low to his left. Two fantastic saves from the Slovenian. Oh, might have shaken Atletico Madrid into a little bit more life. They've looked pretty at times, clean. They haven't taken too many risks. Daniel Martinez down the left-hand side has been threatening. Hasn't really managed to find any outlets in the penalty area with those crosses. Hansko. All the way back to Oblak. Hansko. Koke. Looking for Jorge Dominguez. Gets there above for Arvita Garrido. It's Carlos Martin. Far edge of the penalty area. No foul, says the referee. Very clearly from Adrian Vega. Lilomand to David Hansko. Hansko for Barrios. Barrios wide to Martinez. Martinez back to Barrios. Hansko. Barrios spins one quickly round the corner for Lookman. Lookman facing in the right direction now. Was he fouled outside the box? No, he wasn't, according to the referee. Lookman frustrated with that decision. Into the final minutes of added time. Atletico Madrid pressing for that first opening. I think it probably was a foul on the replay. Ortiz, that one definitely is a foul. As Arnaud Ortiz tried to step in from the left-hand side. The yellow card showed to Carlos Puga. So we'll finish this first half with the Atleti set piece. Adrian Vega, the referee, just pointing to a couple of other spots on the pitch, saying it's a totting up procedure more than anything. He stepped on his foot there. Puga, the first Malaga man to be booked this evening. Okay, as he has so far tonight, is hovering over this set piece. Left of centre, right into the middle of the penalty area. That's away by Anna Galilea, and the referee blows the whistle. Stop for half time. There is a delay here, I think, as the referee and maybe the video assistant referee checks something. Do they? No, they're going to be let off. Well, half-time in this season opener between Atletico Madrid and Malaga. And it's goalless, just the one shot on target. That coming from Rodrigo Mendoza, a speculative effort from range, cut with power and pace, but nothing that Alfonso Herrera was too worried about. Malaga started nervously. Atletico Madrid, as you'd expect, the stronger of the two sides. Marcos Llorente is already warming up. Malaga have been brave. They've been exciting. They've caused problems for Atletico. We'll see how it changes after half-time. It's goalless after 45. We're back in 15 minutes' time. It's half-time. And the score is Atletico 0, Malaga 0. Welcome back. The two teams back out on the pitch in Madrid. And there was a change for Atletico. No surprises to see young Jorge Dominguez substituted for the more experienced Marcos Llorente. It's fair to say Dominguez had a mixed bag of a first half. Booked. And lucky probably not to receive a second yellow. It's goalless between Atletico Madrid and Malaga, the side promoted via the playoffs to Spain's top flight. A reminder, you listen to independent commentary, unofficial. We are just as effective as bringing you all the action from tonight's clash in Spain's top flight. These two sides getting their season campaigns underway. They'll change ends. And to bring you up to speed, if you are only just joining us, Malaga were brave, they were adventurous going forward, they caused Atleti a couple of problems as well. Diego Simeone want to pass on his message. To his charges in the dressing room in the bowels of this cavernous stadium. As will Juan Funes, as his side it is that kick us off at the start of this second half. And, well, a case to be made for Malaga. They were probably the better side in that first half in many ways. More of the ball anyway. While it's Atletico Madrid with a solitary shot on target, that coming in from Rodrigo Mendoza. In that first half, easily saved by Alfonso Herrero, and Malaga it is making the early running. Flag goes up though. Isa Merino just burst into the penalty area. Just kept going. It bounced up off of Robert Lenormand, dropped to Juppe. In the process, he hit Isa Merino. And that's why they pulled it back for a free kick to Atletico Madrid for the offside. Actually, Carlos Pulgar who made the run. He's the only Malaga player in the referee's notebook. He's joined there by David Hansco and the departed Dominguez. It's Koke. Koke to Llorente. One of the decorated of Atletico Madrid's team this evening, if you weren't with us before kick-off. That's a lovely ball over the top by Koke. Cut out, and then a shot from the edge of the penalty area from Lookman on the first contact. Sees Alfonso Herrero dive away to his right. Koke just spotted the run. The curling movement of Arnau Ortiz from that left-hand side. But didn't find him. It was a good clearing header from Angeresio. And Lookman spotted that Herrero was a few yards off of his line, tried to take it on from a long way out. Carlos Martin, meanwhile, has been penalised for a challenge on that Garrido. It's those who lifted the biggest trophy of all in international football earlier this summer were trotted out before kick-off. The likes of Marcos Llorente, Robert Lenormand, Grimaldo now part of that collection. He's one of the summer signings who's on the bench tonight. Herrero eventually 6-yard box by Doctor to Garrido. Anywhere will do. It's launched into the Atleti half of the pitch, and an awkward bouncing ball for Jan Oblak, who tries to lash it away towards the centre circle where Doctor is. So Lorenzo in the initial touch, and then Doctor tried to put Llorente under pressure. Here he is again, Marcos Llorente for Barrios. Turns back, inside it goes to Lookman. Steps over the ball to open the space up for him. Now Barrios on the right hand side. There's a sea of blue and white shirts churning in front of him. And he spaces to try and play it through. Mendoza to Daniel Martinez. Well, we can run you through that Atleti lineup shortly, as that's popped into the box by Koke, nodded back across the face of goal by Carlos Martin. No one there in red and white shirt to get on the end of it. Llorente will backheel it from the touchline to keep it in play. Joaquin Munoz will keep the ball moving, tucked backwards towards the goalkeeper by Ana Galilea. Not sure he wanted it there, Herrero, but finds a decent pass to Carlos Puga, who's got 50, 60 yards downfield. Floated across to the left-hand side. Here's Joaquin Munoz. Between the legs of Llorente. Almost found that Rafita Garrido. Stepping in was Barrios to intercept for Atletico Madrid. Well, the Atleti lineup, Oblak in goal. It's a back 4 or 5. It seems to be pretty fluid defensively. Hatzko involved there on Mon Llorente. Martinez and Martin all have spent some time in the defensive third. Ana Ortiz, Barrios, Koke and Lookman rounding off the 11. Koke the captain this evening. For Malaga tonight, Alfonso Herrero, experienced keeper between the sticks. The back 4 in front of him of Carlos Puga on the right-hand side. Mauricio and Ana Galilea, the 2 centre-backs. Rafita Garrido on the left-hand side of the defence. Here's the danger man, Joaquin Munoz, who's playing on the left flank. He's trying to drive in field, looking to punch a hole through that Atleti midfield. Flicked it out towards the right for La Rubia. David La Rubia. And just a little hesitation. We'll see that trying to let her play. Carlos Totor, man on loan. So trying to operate as some kind of support for Chupe, as has Isa Merino. Thrown on the far side, pushed away by Hatzko. Lookman. Now Llorente. Here comes Marcos Llorente as Carlos Martin ahead of him down the touchline. He was being marshalled by Rafita Garrido. So it's back to Koke, now through the middle for Mendoza. Martin floats it down the line for Mendoza to chase. He'll play it against Garrido. Ana Galilea was the veteran of the 2 centre-backs. Throwing for Atletico Madrid. Carlos Martin prepares to try and launch a long throw into the Malaga penalty area. Ports the first attempt, here's the second. Long, flat, the referee blows the whistle. Took too long to take the throw in. That's one of the new directives in Spain's top flight, just to try and keep the flow of the game going. He's got 5 seconds from when the referee starts to count down, and because he hesitated after the first initial attempt at launching it long, it's been turned over, and here will be a Malaga throw-in instead, in by Garrido. Away from Chupe. Hatzko. Lenormand on the right hand side of the centre circle. Back to Hatzko. Martinez. Forward for Ortiz. To Martinez. Hatzko. Lenormand. Right hand side now is Koke, dropping into the right back position with the Llorente further downfield. It's Koke. Over the top. Puga on the header. And I know Ortiz was challenging from an offside position, so it will be a Malaga free kick. Well, bear with me if you will. Turn your attention back to February of 1953. Malaga arrived in the capital's massive underdogs against Helenio Herrera's 2-time defending champions. And there was a shock 3-1 away victory for Malaga In fact, it's the only away win ever recorded by Malaga in their history against Atletico. The defeat for Atletico Madrid resulted in the immediate sacking of Helenio Herrera, and just weeks later, then Stidi Malaga hired Herrera as their new head coach. That's the weight of history that's up against Malaga this evening. This has not been a happy hunting ground for them. Matza saw one for David Hansko. Ayman Galilea tried to just step across him. The challenge for that. And, did seem to catch him. Certainly was a stray arm. David Hansko asking the referee, why is that not a booking? The ball rolling again. There's Trebeke. Infringement. Diagonal to Llorente. Walker wants to take down the chest, and it will ricochet away from him, but he appreciates the idea from David Hansko. And this time it's Joaquin Munoz who hits the deck, and there's the free kick for Malaga. Marcos Llorente eager to win the ball back. And some reinforcements being prepared by Diego Simeone. 3 of them. Not happy with what he's seen so far in the opening 10 minutes of the second half, but maybe he will now. Ademola Lookman tries to run through. Drops here on the edge of the box to Carlos Martin. Off balance, he tried to head it on the half volley. It's over the crossbar. Suddenly they were swarming all over the Malaga defence. The best chance surely was there to Ademola Lookman. It was given away by Herrera. One ball forward from Hansko to the edge of the penalty area. They quickly moved it on from David Hansko to Ademola Lookman. Cross came Resio, just strong enough. He went to ground, Ademola Lookman. Referee was right on top of it. No indication he was going to blow the whistle. This is a lovely ball though to Rodrigo Mendoza, and it's saved by the left foot of Alfonso Herrero. Maybe just the sight of a few substitutes have seen these Atleti players kick up a gear. Don't think it'll spare them an early bath though. Diego Simeone has passed on the paperwork to the 4th official. It was a similar situation, winning the ball back high in the Malaga half of the pitch, and worked across from that opposite side by Barrios, this time to Rodrigo Mendoza. He's already shown in the first half that he can really catch a ball. That one was a bit of a scuffed shot, looking for the bottom corner. Well, Arno Ortiz is going to depart. On comes Giuliano Simeone, the manager's son. It's also the end of the evening for Carlos Martin, and a debut for former PSG man Kangin Lee. And Carlos Martin will also go off. And it's Aleix Baena. One of that trophy-winning cohort from the summer, who comes on to rapturous applause. Goal against Uruguay in the group stage, you might remember. And an assist against Austria too. We're going for it, Giuliano Simeone. A bit more of a balanced player, but the likes of Kangin Lee and Alex Baena, certainly more attacking profiles. Just bounces away down that far side. Goal kick for Malaga. I won't be intimidated by the reinforcements. Garrido. Looks like it'll be Baena on the left. Simeone operating down the right. Lookman still in that centre forward role, and Kangin Lee just off his shoulder. And I'll take it on from a distance. That one was always sweeping wide of Alfonso Herrera's goal. Here's Hansko. Off by Puga. Malaga try and turn on halfway. Felt there was a foul. There wasn't, according to the referee, who was all of 3 feet away from the incident. Here's Lookman. Barrios. Martinez. Lookman. Big switch out to Llorente. Marcos Llorente. To Koke. Baena. Lookman gets away from Barrios. Merino lays it off. Excuse me, Puga. Only ball aimed at Chupe. Won't reach him. To the Malaga half with Koke between the lines. And Kangin Lee can't keep it. Smashed away by Joaquin Munoz. Ball down the outside. And Daniel Martinez won't catch up with it. Hour gone. Still no goals between Atletico Madrid and Malaga in this season opener. Listen to independent, unofficial commentary from Spain's top flight. That's tossed into Recio. Tries to swipe it away down the right-hand side. Madrid starting to dominate possession now. Shift to Llorente. It's Martinez. Now Baena. Lifted into Barrios' path. And the way was Puga as he tried to tail it into the box. Barrios. Pass won't find a teammate, and instead it's Chupe. Tried to play it first time with the outside of the right boot to Joaquin Munoz, who was making a run through the middle, and Malaga have a corner. Applause from the 1,500 or so travelling Malaga supporters. They are preparing a couple of changes too. We'll get on before we see Rafa Rodriguez. Throwing players into the Madrid box as we speak, as they wait to take the corner. That's played short by Lorenzo deep towards the back post, not a bad ball. And it was Zaina Galilea who was just steered under the flight of it. It was Joaquin Munoz with the delivery. Clever play in the end by Daniel Martinez, who just used his momentum to ease Ednan Galilea underneath the flight of it. Oblak. Martinez. Barrios. Llorente, right-hand side now. Giuliano Simeone. Llorente. Simeone. Llorente. Wide for Baena. Baena edge of the box for Kangin Lee. Here is Kangin Lee. Can he get his shot away? He can. It's a high one, but it looped away off the defender. Corner for Malaga. Fans have found their voice. Baena standing over this one. Baena's ball towards the back post. Got a head to it. David Hansko went to ground, looked to the referee. Just shook his head. Here they go again. Kangin Lee looking for Lookman. There's Recio. And now Malaga try and create something on the counter with David Larrubia. Larrubia inside, links up with Dottor. Wide Munoz, close down by Llorente. Near the corner flag on the opposite side of the pitch. Dottor. Munoz. Fuga. Recio. Lorenzo. Rafita Carrillo. Chupe. Lorenzo. Dottor. Fuga. Larrubia. Fuga. Larrubia. Working on that right hand side, Malaga. Spotted the run. Chupe it was, trying to burst into the penalty area. Daniel Lorenzo was close to it, as was Isa Merino, but in the end it was always going to be Jan Oblak's ball. Martinez, Barrios, Hansko. Looks for the switch of play to Giuliano Simeone. Llorente picks up the ball that bounced away from Garrido, tries to force it into the penalty area. It's back with Giuliano Simeone, fed by Koke. Getting back his Joaquin Munoz. Gives that away. And it bounces off of Koke. Goes down the left-hand side. Chupe ran into Kangin Lee. Bounces out of play in front of the substitutes waiting to come on for Malaga. Well, previously the Atletico Madrid corner kick that saw Hansko getting the end of it, he was in a bit of a tangle with Ita Merino. Well, the two changes. Off goes Joaquin and on comes Juan Cruz. 26-year-old winger, and it's the end of the evening as well for Dottor. And comes Rafa Rodriguez. So a bit of a reshape in attacking areas specifically. Long ball forward from Recio. Strong from Llorente. He kept it from going out of play for a corner. Simeone to Robin Lenormand. Official attendance tonight 65,785, a capacity here of 70 odd thousand, as we've mentioned. So somewhere out there's 5,000 empty seats. I'd say from our vantage point that's certainly not the case. Recio. Back to Alfonso Herrero. Einar Galileo. Lorenzo. Rafita Carrillo. To Einar Galileo. He's got Kangin Lee for company and has to just spin and pump it away. Simeone with the header forward. And then a little cushion pass to Barrios. Here he is, right in the middle of the Malaga half. Barrios wide. Finds Kangin Lee. Llorente. Marcos Llorente. To Koke. Hansko. Martinez. Lookman. Koke. Towards the right-hand side, they were trying to find Kangin Lee. Llorente sliding back towards the halfway line. It's Koke. Back by Lookman. Switch out to the right-hand side. It's Kangin Lee! Oh, what a goal! What a way to announce yourself to the Atletico Madrid supporters. Darting across the face of the penalty area and unleashes a rocket with that left foot. Curled into the top corner. It's a superb finish. Had time on the right, he was closed down, touched it away from 1, 2, 3 defenders. That's when the window opened up to take the shot on. Struck with precision and power. No keeper in the world is saving that. Diego Simeone runs his hands through his hair. Almost in relief. It's Atletico Madrid 1, Malaga 0. Kangin Lee with a blockbuster of a finish. Well, he has that ability in spades, as Kangin Lee. Always had to play a bit part at PSG. But here now, they'll be hoping that this move to Spain with Atletico Madrid will open up the chance to revitalise his club career. "46 appearances for South Korea internationally, but at PSG the chances were few and far between in the main, competing with some world-class talent there. Well, the same can be said here in the Spanish capital. You've got a feel for Malaga. They've made a change in the aftermath. Off goes Carlos Puga. And on has come Jose Salinas, who joined on loan from Espanyol at the end of July. Made his debut for the club in that 2-2 draw with Fulham. One back just outside the box. Here's Kangin Lee, slips through, Lookman! Brilliant save by Alfonso Herrero. Lookman on his left, looked to lash it high into the top corner of the near post. It's a smart reaction save from the Malaga goalkeeper. Thrust up a strong right hand to push it over the crossbar. They'll have the corner, Atletico Madrid. They're very, very close to a second. Referee just delaying the corner. Alessio was left on his rear end. A handshake between Robin and Lenormand. Pat on the cheek as well for Alessio. In towards the near post. Bash across the face of goal. So close. It was Lenormand. It was flicked on by a Malaga head. Lenormand was there, arriving at the far stick. It's been given as another Atletico Madrid corner. Baena's ball, flicked on by Chupe it was. It might just bounce off Alessio's rear. Really important piece of defending from Angel Alessio. Another corner from Baena. From 6 yards, it's off the crossbar from Hansko. And then fired back towards goal, took a deflection. Herrero can launch it away. Well, in the space of a few minutes, Atletico Madrid quite easily could have raced into a 3-goal lead. A great chance for Lookman. One for Lenormand at the back post, and then the resulting corner saw Hansko plant his header against the woodwork. And with 15 minutes to play, the referee has pointed them towards the sideline. The follow-up, incidentally, was from Giuliano Simeone. They're going to take a drink, a hydration break. I think this is a little disruption that suits Malaga more than it suits Atletico Madrid, who just found some momentum there. They started flying. That one goal seemed to have given them the drive, the confidence to kick on. From a tactical perspective, if you really want to analyse their performance so far, they have missed a focal point. As good as Ademola Lookman is, and he is very, very good. It's in the running, of course, for the Ballon d'Or. He isn't really an out-and-out centre-forward. They are missing a Serloff and Alvarez. A player of that ilk. With talent the likes of Alex Baena, Kangin Lee, who's already shown what he can do tonight. Someone to bounce the ball off would go a long way. After an even first half, the statistics have taken on a very different tale. Malaga still looking for their first shot on target. Atletico Madrid now have 14 shots in total, 54% possession, 6 corners, 54 dangerous attacks to Malaga's 20. And one of those dangerous attacks came from Kangin Lee. A ball struck at 114.7 kilometres an hour. The distance, 18.9 metres. No question marks about the quality of the finish. Quite simply brilliant. And during the hydration break, they're going to make a change. Off goes Koke. And it's a debut for another new signing. Morten Schulmand, the Danish international, joined from Sporting on the 11th of July for £34.2 million. Comes on to short the ranks in midfield. A round of applause for Koke, as there so often is. He is adored in these parts. Today's 750th appearance. It gives way for a player making his first for Atletico Madrid. It's a big, big money signing from Sporting Lisbon in Portugal. It's their most expensive signing. Joint most expensive signing, I should say, of the summer, alongside Hangin Lee and Christian Romero, who recently joined the club 4 days ago from Tottenham Hotspur. Malaga on the edge of the penalty area, maybe with a chance, just let the ball run away from them. Here is a chance for La Rubia, if he can sort his feet out. Schulman did well, got across. Malaga persisted. It was flashed across the 6-yard box. They've got a problem here, Malaga. It's Daniel Lorenzo down. He's got in a tangle with Daniel Martinez. Well, for all Atletico Madrid's dominance in the past few minutes, he's still delicately poised. Changes here for Malaga. Off goes Ana Galilea. And it's Dani Lorenzo. Enrico Waregi. The centre forward's going to come on for Lorenzo. And Ramon Enriquez Rodriguez is on as well. So a centre forward and a midfielder have sacrificed Aina Galilea. Haregi on to join Chupe to the middle. Trying to work out how they've reshaped that back line. Salinas is now on the left-hand side of the defence for Malaga. Rafa Garrido, Fita Garrido on the right. And Alessio continues in the middle. I'm sure we'll see Ramon Enriquez slotted into midfield. Enriquez. Less than 10 minutes to find an equaliser. It's Isa Merino who is slotted in alongside Alessio. That's the position he's played before. Isa Merino. Away from Lookman. And the play of Uruguay. There is Garrido for Alessio. Herrero. Long towards Enrico Yauregi. A bit more of a physical presence than Chupe. And significantly more experience at 30 years old. One goal in the 4 friendlies they played. That came 7 days ago against Fulham. Almost the last kick of the game, the goal from the penalty spot, the 91st minute. Aregi on the left-hand side. Strong challenge. Can't keep the ball though. And here comes Barrios. Barrios forward. It's Alex Baena. 2 is left for Ademola Lookman. And Baena was caught just outside the box as he released the ball to Lookman. I think it was Isa Merino who was desperately trying to get back into position. Blocked Baena's route to goal. He's just held his ground there. It's a body check. Baena runs straight into him. Merino, the bigger man. Anita Merino makes the point to the referee that he had nowhere else to go. Will be a set piece from 25 yards for Atletico Madrid. One man who's certainly interested in this is Kangin Lee. He's lining this up. And with the way he's hit one already tonight, you can understand why. Alex Baena, also a candidate to strike this with his right. Four in the wall, slightly left of centre. It's Baena! Oh, it's fantastic goal! What a goal from Alex Baena! Over the wall, into the top corner. And Madrid have sealed all 3 points, surely now. Two spectacular goals on a night where things have been less than straightforward for them against the new boys to the top flight. Alex Baena marks his return with something quite special. It's off the underside of the crossbar. Malaga are getting a baptism of fire to welcome them back to Spain's top flight. With world-class players, the likes of Kangin Lee and Alex Baena, you get world-class goals. His last goal for Atletico Madrid came back in December of last year in the 3-1 defeat to Barcelona. Since then, he's headed off to the United States with the national team. He's come back with a medal. And adds a goal to his collection. Got to learn from this, Malaga. They had chances in that first half to cause Atletico Madrid problems. And maybe still chances here. That's poked free by Lenormand. And now here comes Baena, sandwiched between two Malaga defenders. Referee says no foul. Trying to get themselves something to build off of here, Malaga. The result's probably going to escape them now. Enriquez. There is La Rubia. Is he fouled by Llorente? Referee thinks so. It's Cruz who went down. Cruz, the number 19. Taken quickly. There's the pullback. In the way was Hatchko. Danger hasn't been cleared. Back into the penalty area. This time it's nodded away by Llorente. Drops to Baena. Kangin Lee. Leg left dangling. And the yellow card produced for Ramon Enriquez. Cover play from Kangin Lee. Knew that he was turning into traffic, but there was probably going to be contact, and this takes the sting out. Malaga playing with a little urgency, a bit of intensity, trying to get themselves on the scoreboard. It's Baena. Lookman playing a wider role in these last few minutes. Here's Schulman. Barrios. Llorente. Simeone. Llorente. Into the middle for Morten Hjulmand. That's a heavy touch from Alex Baena. Drops his head in response and then tries to set about winning it back, and he's successful, poking it free. Forward by Barrios. Baena on the left-hand side. Can't escape the challenger. Rafita Garrido. Or David Rubia. And it will be a throw-in for Atletico Madrid. Well, they'll be desperate for a clean sheet today. Last season was their worst ever in terms of goals conceded under Diego Simeone. This isn't a feature you really think of from a Simeone side. They tend to be so tight defensively and compact and difficult to break down. Simeone back to Lenormand. Now with Oblak. Llorente. Kangin Lee. Barrios. Forward. Across the face of goal by Simeone. He was looking for Lookman. Rafita Garrido it was who responded quicker. David Rubia was involved as well defensively. But it was Garrido who got to the ball first. In by Llorente towards Simeone, can flick it on. Here's Ramon Enriquez, one back by Barrios. Here is Pablo Barrios, left of centre, just on the edge of the penalty area. Lookman on the left edge of the box, into the box, and it's Alessio who clears it. Simeone was lurking on the 6-yard line. We are beyond the 90, 6 minutes of added time added on by the officials. And Atletico Madrid pushing for a third. Barrios on the far side, shrugged off the ball. It's Rafa Rodriguez, now Enriquez. Laid off to Alessio. Merino. In the middle of the pitch now for Ramon Enriquez. That's given away. Lookman can have a run. Tries to just feed it through to Baena. Had to play the pass with pace. That made it difficult for Baena to take in his stride. Ends up with Alfonso Herrero. Rodriguez trying to battle his way through. Looks wide for Salinas here. Does Rafa Rodriguez. Merino. Garrido. Rubia. Isa Merino. That's the left-hand side for Jose Salinas. Let's turn backwards to the goalkeeper, Herrero. One through the middle, Lenormand is underneath it. Taken down by Rodriguez. Ramon Enriquez tries to find Inoko Yaregi. He's done so, and Lenormand has fouled him. Strike from a long way out. Shot on target for Malaga. It's come in added time and came from David La Rubia from just outside the penalty spot, the penalty area. A side-foot attempt that was heading towards the bottom corner, but we're taking something special to beat Jan Oblak from that sort of range. Angel Recio. Merino's been dispossessed, unfairly though, by Baena. Free kick taken very swiftly. Here's Rafita Garrido. La Rubia. Enriquez round the corner. Garrido chops back. Garrido looking for options. Aregi was his chosen one, but there were 3 red and white shirts between Garrido and Yaregi, and it's played out of the penalty area by Atletico Madrid. Long from Kangin Lee, Lookman, the flag has stayed down. Ademola Lookman into the penalty area, tries to chop into a shooting position. And what defenders Malaga had back were enough. Vesio it was. Anita Merino combining. Ramon Enriquez. Juan Cruz. Enriquez. Enriquez. Salinas. Ramon Enriquez. Hammered away by Lenormand. Herrero. Enriquez. Chupe. That was Arubia. And Jauregui was just caught in his heels. David Arubia has been one of Malaga's better players tonight, but the threat all seemed to dissipate as soon as Joaquin Munoz came off. It's been Atletico Madrid's second half by a long way. Oblak. Simeone tussling with Resio. It's backwards by Kangin Lee. Llorente. Schulman is turning on it. Simeone. Llorente. All the way back to Oblak. Kangin Lee was rising with Resio. There's Barrios in the middle. And Hjulmans too. Will be Atletico Madrid free kick. Going through the motions now, both teams. We're into the last knockings. Atletico Madrid looks set to start the season with 3 points. With Kangin Lee here. Picking the ball around nicely, and the referee blows the whistle for full time. A difficult first 45 minutes. Diego Simeone goes sprinting off down the tunnel. He would have been nervous at the break, as Malaga were brave, caused his side problems, and maybe, just maybe, could have got themselves in front. But it was a different performance from Atletico Madrid in the second half, and a very special performance from Kangin Lee, who pinged in a wonderful goal on debut. Alex Baena, everyone knows what he can do, and he produced it yet again from a free kick to seal a first win of the season for Los Rojo Blancos. For Malaga, it's going to be a tough year for them. That much is true. They knew that coming into this return to the Spanish top flight. But from what they've shown this evening, there'll be a match for many teams in this league. Not tonight, though, as full time is finished. Atletico Madrid 2, Malaga 0.